Match number 50 of IPL 2019 sees the two teams at the top of the IPL table face off against each other in what will be the penultimate game for both Chennai Super Kings and Delhi Capitals. It's at the Chepauk where MS Dhoni returns, so they won't be like headless chickens this time with CSK because they tend to lose their way without their highly influential skipper. He's lost a toss, which is something he doesn't do often, MS Dhoni. It's a first loss in 9 tosses for him. And Shreyas Iyer's decided that he's still going to make MS do what he wanted to do. Chennai will be batting first. Delhi will be bowling. There are significant changes for both teams. We'll come to that in just a bit. But on ESPNcricinfo Matchday T20. So look ahead to this one. Murali Karthik and Daniel Vittori. Lots of spin. Graham Swan said at the pitch report he wouldn't mind bowling at the Chepauk pitch if he was still playing cricket. Would you share that?
I completely echo his sentiments, having been there and seen that pitch. I've never seen a Chennai track so bald.
And I hope we get, that's a very nice one, nice way to start. But anyway, I hope we have a full game because you need to work harder for your money than Vittori after your debut appearance yesterday. So the first blank of the tournament.
I'm a T5 specialist, I think. That's all I'm available for.
Even that you couldn't give us. You couldn't give us 5 overs aside yesterday. Poor Murali Karthik was there under the rain. I hope you managed to get enough protection. And you were the only one working. I could only hear your voice start to finish.
Me and Mel.
I'd have it no other way though.
Yeah.
Okay, Dhoni says he would rather bat first. Does that in any way surprise you, Dan? Let's start with you. Toss reaction. Delhi will be bowling first. Chennai themselves like to chase, but Dhoni on this occasion saying he doesn't mind a bat.
Well, I think for Delhi, they look at it as probably not anticipating what the wicket's going to do. I think obviously Chennai will have a lot of influence, a lot of understanding what the wicket's going to do, and therefore they've got that confidence. The wicket's been a little bit all over the place this season. There's been some low scores and then there's been some decent scores. So I think, listening to Graham Swan's report, that it is going to take turn. But I think Shreyas Iyer and the Delhi Capitals probably a little bit concerned about how the wicket's going to play, a little bit concerned about the dew as well. And so when you factor those two things in, it was probably a conservative decision to bowl first.
Dhoni says he doesn't expect dew to play as big a part today, citing that conditions have been different in Chennai today. And Mumbai did win the last game at the Chepauk, batting first quite comfortably, Karthik.
Yeah, true. And sometimes for all the meteorological experience you have and all the experience you have of looking at clouds and breeze, it just stumps you. Even the last time around, I still remember asking Suresh Raina the same thing, and he said that, we were concerned about the dew at toss, and that's one of the reasons why they wanted to bowl first.
Yes.
And even Rohit Sharma wanted to do the same. It turned out that for Rohit Sharma, it was a blessing in disguise. So these are things which you never can predict, but what you can definitely do on a cricketing basis is that surface is going to get difficult to bat later on if there is no dew. So do you base your decision on just the dew, or do you think that, this wicket is going to take turn irrespective, and the more you play on it, the tougher it is going to be to bat. So that's one of the reasons why MSD has decided to bat first, having seen what happened in the last game.
Just before we go to the 11s though, contrasting recent form for both teams. Chennai have lost 3 out of 4, Delhi have won 6 out of 7 going into this. And even though it's Chennai's home game and it is their last game at home for the league phase, the first qualifier is in Chennai. Karthik, is it more important for Chennai, looking at some cracks that have been seeping in these last few games, to secure a top 2 berth in order to have 2 bites of it and play the first game at Chennai for you?
There are quite a few things here. CSK don't lose at home. It is Fortress Chennai. But having said that, this year, most of their top order batters are struggling on that surface, irrespective of having done well. So one part of it is, would they want to play away from home so that they have better tracks? But also the other part is that their spinners have been magical on that surface, with 3 of them, Imran Tahir, all of them under 6 and 6.5 as economy rate. So it's a catch-22. But yeah, the biggest thing for you is that you feel safe and secure at home. You want to be at home, so you want to finish on top. And it's just amazing, their record in every year of IPL, they've made the playoffs. So it is something which is, I think, unmatched, and I'm pretty sure that CSK would want to be at home.
Okay, Delhi, it's almost a contrasting culture to Chennai, Delhi Capitals, Dan. Different team, lots of investment in youth, they have a bit of a swag about them. Very different from Chennai, established internationals, what do you call them, the Daddy's Club or Daddy's Army or whatever you want to call them. But it does seem like momentum, as the season's gotten deeper, has been with Delhi, and Chennai have just gone off the boil a bit.
Well, I mean, at this time of the tournament, the only thing that matters, and even though these two teams have qualified, they're going to want to take that momentum in. And I think Delhi in particular, the way they've played in their last 6 or 7 games has given them that confidence. And the next step for them is to win a big game like this outside of Delhi. in Fortress Chennai, as Kartik said. And I think
then he doesn't know which way the ball's going, so the batsman doesn't know which way the ball's going.
All right, so essentially a full-strength Chennai team now, even though MS Dhoni points out that no one actually plays at 100% these days. But let's go to some match points. The first one is Delhi's top order, and they've been fundamental to Delhi actually doing well and picking up the points to the latter half of the season. So let's focus on the numbers, because between them, Shikhar Dhawan, Shreyas Iyer, they've all managed to put in a real shift. We're looking at their top 3 batting performances in the IPL of late. 9 50-plus scores, an average of 32. The good thing is, Dan, they found solidity, which a lot of teams sometimes chop and change and trying to figure out. They found 4 guys that they can bat at the top.
I think this was their optimal result when they traded for Shikhar. I think they viewed him as a consistent player. He's probably not as dynamic as some of the other openers around in the IPL, but they knew they could rely on him to score consistent runs. And he would put together match-winning performances like his last innings against RCB. He got some confidence and he played Chahal so well. So I think he was the glue that they really wanted. They understand how good a players Pradeep Shaw and Shreyas Iyer are, but they weren't so sure, I think, about the consistency. And so to balance that out with Shikhar, I think has made them a formidable top 3. And more importantly, they're all local players. So that means the international players can add the balance, the all-round composition, and they have those players which have fitted in nicely this year.
I like that you say that, because Dhawan had the luxury of David Warner for all these years at Hyderabad. He now comes here and he's got very talented but still young, relatively young batsmen, Indian batsmen around. It's been a big year for Dhawan. Little bit of pressure, didn't have the best form coming into it internationally either. Personally, it's been a big year for Shikhar Dhawan.
I think so, and also the fact that he instantly becomes a senior batsman in that team. There's no one else that he's competing with on that status. There may be more talented guys, although that's probably unfair on Shikhar, but I think he walks in there as the elder statesman, the experienced IPL player, the experienced international cricketer, and so he can go out there and play and not have to compete with anyone, not have to worry about what Warner's doing or anyone else. He just goes out there and plays, and those other young Indian batsmen just fall into line.
Let's look at Dhawan's numbers in detail. We'll get Kartik as well on this, because we're looking at the best average for a Delhi opener in the IPL with 5 innings. And one thing last year was when Gautam Gambhir started, Kartik, they were struggling to find the right combination at the top. Shikhar Dhawan's numbers now, an average of 41. It's in comparison only to Peterson, Sehwag and Gambhir, all of whom have had prolific seasons, or at least very impactful seasons when they have had for Delhi in better times. This was, again, it looks like it's one of the biggest boxes Ricky Ponting ticked, and it was almost a must. There was no backup to this. They had to get Shikhar Dhawan to glue the top order.
Yeah, we've said this before as well, and sometimes you underestimate what an opener does to a team. And we've seen what Johnny Bairstow and David Warner have done to their respective sides, in spite of the others not doing enough. This year, Shikhar Dhawan's numbers, if you look at them, obviously the runs and the average, I think in the power play, he's 4th in terms of the strike rates, behind Gale, Johnny Bairstow and Parthiv Patel. So he's been up there. And also, I think he's alluded to the fact that Ricky Ponting and whatever he has said has made a huge difference to the way he's gone about batting. And if you can do that, and if you've got 3 power hitters, 3 really good people up top, and especially with somebody like him, who's smashing the spinners, who's smashing the fast bowlers, it becomes really tough for the bowlers to come back after.
I like that you brought that up, because in the first 6 games, Dan, he was doing what Shikhar Dhawan's known to do for a while, which is score at about 120, some there and thereabouts. Ricky Ponting says publicly that Dhawan can't be batting like that. He has a game at KKR, then he gets 97 of 63 wins rate, gets man of the match. Since then, there's been different purpose. Now, where do you stand on this slight public criticism that the management sometimes has to give to maybe boost a player, and sometimes it goes the other way? You've been in that position.
Well, I think, firstly, from the player's perspective, it's a dream result. Your coach is telling you to go out there and slog it. I think it's most players'
coach
dream.
can tell you that off camera too.
Yeah, but I think once you get that, I suppose, acknowledgement, not only from the coach but from the wider public, that this is the way we want you to play, then it really sinks in. And I think most of the time when you have that private conversation, it normally is a private conversation. And so for them to go to the point of let's make it public, then it's easy for Shikhar to buy into that, and he obviously has, and he's played exceptionally well. And I think the thing is that he's done really well, and now he's just stepping up even more. So I think sometimes we don't quite factor in how well a player's done until he goes to that next level. So it was a good start to the season, and now it's turned into a fantastic start to the season.
Full credit to Shikhar Dhawan, who's a full-blown international, of repute. Sometimes players can sulk about these sorts of things. Any idea?
No, it depends how you take it. It depends how you take it. I don't think it was said in a critical way. It was whether it's constructive
Motivate him.
criticism and obviously coming from Ricky Ponting, you need to take it as the right way. It's not coming from anyone else, and he means well for you. And sometimes it's your latent powers you don't know, and someone else has to remind you that this is what you have, and that can be a big boost for anyone. Why Shikhar Dhawan? It can be for anybody. You just have to go and let them know that, look, this is what you possess. It's high time you fulfilled your potential.
Full credit then to Shikhar Dhawan. Quick numbers again when it comes to Delhi. We're looking at the least number of innings for a 50-plus score for Delhi, and Dhawan's right up there. He just gets the big scores for fun. The fact is that he's also getting it at a strike rate that's keeping Delhi and his coach in particular very happy. So well done to Shikhar Dhawan. He is the glue that's holding this Delhi top order together, like we've just discussed. Deep Dasgupta has gone deeper than the glue. He's managed to figure out any technical analysis that might have aided Shikhar Dhawan this season.
The last couple of years, more than 60% of the runs in white ball cricket has been scored by the top three in India, and one of the major part of that success, or those 60% of the runs, has been Shikhar Dhawan. Well, there are no apparent deficiency in his technique. Yes, he's some things that he can improve on, but couple of things that he does, that's his technique basically. One of that is his bottom hand. He's very bottom hand dominated batsman. He uses the bottom hand a lot. That's the reason he's very good cutting and pulling. Now, at times what happens is when he overdoes that bottom hand, he tries to force it, he tries to muscle it. That's where he gets into a little bit of a trouble. As long as he's caressing it and making sure that the bottom hand, even though it is the dominant hand for Shikhar Dhawan, is not kind of overpowering the top hand, he's all right. But at times what he does is he tries to muscle it, tries to play a shot too hard, and in doing that, he gets out of position and out of control. The other thing that he does with his foot, his initial movement is front foot press. Again, there is nothing wrong with it, but as long as that front foot press is not a commitment. Now the difference is, this on my toes is a front foot press, it's not a commitment, but when I land my whole foot and my body weight also kind of goes in front, that becomes a commitment. Now if I've committed on here, then the problem is the next footwork becomes very, very difficult. So he has to start playing from here. So a lot of times you'll see him getting stuck to left arm seam, especially because he goes across there and he gets stuck. So anything coming into him, he gets stuck. You'll see a lot of time he gets out to left arm seamers, either bowled or leg before predominantly. Now a combination of commitment and bottom is
has done so well. And I think at the start of the tournament, Delhi would have tried to factor in a way to play both of them, I think, because I know how successful Trent was. I know that he took wickets throughout the majority of the tournament, and I know how happy the Delhi franchise was with him. But in saying that, the death bowling is going to be crucial tonight, and I think Trent has worked exceptionally hard on that. I know back home he was probably our best death bowler through the home summer, but like Karthik says, India is a different proposition. It's trickier, and for someone like him, it's all about execution at that depth. It's not going to be too many tricks. It's just going to be trying to hit that Yorker, trying to go wide against the right-handed batsman, and occasionally using that slower ball. So, look, I think he can be successful in that depth, particularly if he's matched up against some of the lower-order batsmen. If it's a set batsman, then it's tough for anyone, and there's very few players who can get through those back 4 overs, being successful when you've got a set batsman like Dhoni, Raidu or Kedar. 2
and 2 then for him, 2 with the top and 2 with the deaths, is how you'd use Trent Bolt?
I think so. I mean, it's going to be fascinating how Delhi actually use their 4 spinners, and in reality, they don't have a 6th bowler. I know they'll use Rutherford in some way, but it's the 4 spinners will dictate how they use Trent Bolt. But I presume he's going to get the first over. They'll see if it's swinging, and then they'll go from there.
What about you, Karthik? Quickly on that choice of bowlers, how you use him?
Look, it depends again how the match pans out. Ideally, that's what you want to do with a fast bowler, but sometimes things are thrown into disarray by the way the opposition play. So yeah, definitely, I'm pretty sure that they are searching for swing early on, especially if he can trap both those batsmen who can be susceptible to the ball coming in. That's one of the reasons why Trent Bolt would definitely have to bowl those 2 overs in the power play, and then depending on who bats and where they go.
What about a couple of batsmen in the Chennai team that are anyway in search of runs, and how Delhi's bowlers